Hey everyone, Leanne here from Kingdom Bloggers. So, with a new month means it's time for our previous month blog income report. So, I'm going to go through my income and expenses for the month of February. And if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I share these not to brag on my earnings, but to show you just what it takes to actually grow your blog, your ministry, whatever you want to call it, including the expenses, but also how the income is made. I know most people get into this wanting to earn money, and most people have a clear misunderstanding of how income is actually generated and what it takes to get there. And so I want to be as transparent as possible on where my income comes from, but more importantly, how I'm able to generate it. All right, let's hop over here. Here's my fancy little presentation. So let's go here. We're going to go down one. All right. So for February, which of course we had 29 days this month, but still that's a day or two shorter than most months. And believe it or not, for traffic, when it comes to ad income, it does have a significant impact, those 2 days. But for my February traffic, Kingdom was 90,000, 90,259. The PFE site 46,000 and BSP 28, almost 29,000. Now, typically in January, we see a huge kind of boost in traffic. And I want to say it was like 115 or something last month for KB. And I'm going to actually show you my traffic spreadsheet just so you can see the fluctuation. But typically there's a huge boost from December to January. And then by February, it goes down just a little and kind of levels out for the rest of the year. So let's hop over there and see that really quick. So you can see here, actually it was 103, not 115. That was wishful thinking. So January was 103 and then February was 90. Now in January, aside from the normal little bit of boost, I also have a lot of kind of what we call seasonal content for January, which is my scripture reading plans and things like that. And those get a lot of organic traffic, but they also get a lot of traffic from Pinterest. And so part of that high peak was not that Google gave me a lot of extra. I just had a surge in traffic to some particular content. And then by February, that sort of trickles down. So, and I hadn't shown this spreadsheet before in my report, so I'll just let you see this. This is the life of the site from December when it was first, December of 2019 is when I actually started kind of keeping track of all this growth over the years, including the Google updates that caused traffic losses. I think that one was somewhere last year in here. I didn't take much of a hit from this last one, thank God. And then for my other site, there's the Pray site. I'm teetering around right at 48 to 50,000. I'm hoping after this month, it'll start leveling up and be back on the up. And then this site is actually on Mediavine right now. And then the BSP site is halfway there. We actually are almost at 30,000. And so 20 more to go, and I can apply to Mediavine for this site. So traffic is paramount. Okay. Let's hop back over here to there we go. All right. So let's talk about income. So as you know, most of my monthly income does come from ad revenue, and ad revenue is directly proportional to the amount of traffic for that month. And so you saw the traffic was significantly down. So this was my ad revenue for the month. But this ad revenue is actually offset by a month, I think 2 months. So this was from the month before. And also I stopped. So this would be about November earnings really from the website, but which November was great. I have two different ad revenue companies. I have Mediavine and I have She Media. And so in November is when I took PFE off of She Media and started getting the ad impressions, whatever you want to call it, on with Mediavine. Sorry, I can't speak this morning. And so there was a slight drop for the next 2 months because when you first start with an ad revenue company, it takes a good 30 days for the ads to like learn your site and follow the cookies and all the things, and then it's offset. And so I'm not actually getting the money yet for PFE from Mediavine, whereas I was getting it with She Media. And so now I'm not, like, it's there, I just haven't been paid it yet. Hope that kind of makes sense. So I think the last 2 months were between 3 and 4,000. So it's that missing piece of the PFE earnings from ad revenue, because again, I switched ad companies and it takes a month or two to get that going back again. Okay, so affiliate income, 528. Some of this was from some Christmas sales. It also includes Amazon. It's all my affiliate stuff kind of combined into one. I will say that most of this is not blogging. There are a few blogging products that I do recommend, but the majority of this was from Amazon and I think Share a Sale and a few others. Product sales. So those are my products that I sell on Etsy and via Gumroad. So 385. It was a really great month. And y'all know some of this income actually came from free products. So if you have products on Etsy, I highly encourage you to put them on Gumroad as well. And if you have freebies, I would highly encourage you to list those on Gumroad through their free listing option, because sometimes people will pay you for those free items. And then my teachable income was 1910. In January, I had my boot camp started. And so I do the promo for the boot camp back for Black Friday. So most people sign up for that. But I did have 1 or 2 people sign up the week prior to class. And so the teachable income was a little bit higher than it is for most months. So total income for the month, 5613.84. Now to the expenses. All right. So my standard monthly expenses this month. So if you're new here, standard monthly expenses are the things that are just recurring every month. So my hosting, Rank IQ, ConvertKit, things like that. Just those monthly expenses to run the blog. Okay. Some months these are a little higher. It just depends. I was actually including annual renewals in this number, but this month I actually had several renewals. So I'm putting those under the miscellaneous, and I'll get to that in just a minute. My contract workers. So this year, I mentioned in the last video that I was able to give all of my writers, well, I have 2, a raise. So I'm so blessed and so excited to be able to do that. And so as a result, of course, my monthly payout to them went up. And so I have 2 full-time writers, and I also have a part-time VA. And so this is going to be basic, like kind of every month. Some months it may be a little more, but this is going to be the standard every month, at least for a while. 1,350 is what I'm paying other people to either write content or to help me with miscellaneous tasks. And I think this is very important to note, because, when you get to the level where I'm at now, like we all want to get to this level, but you can't possibly do it on your own. Being able to pay for some things to be taken care of is kind of a vital part to being able to grow more. Many of you want to see those huge numbers right away, but the reality is there's just not enough time in the day for you. And also, if you have other things, children, an outside the home job, or maybe you have an inside the home job, homeschool, all the things, you got to use some of those hours for that. And I do this full time. Of course, I play with my chickens and I do serve at my church, and I do things like that. But I value my time. And so I am not going to call this a side hustle where I work 80 hours a week. That's just not going to happen. So being able to finally earn enough that I could take some of that earnings and pay it forward. So one, I'm helping other creators generate income as well, but that also enables me to double my workload. And so paying for help is a vital part of growing a ministry to the size that I have been able to grow it to this point. So I want to make that very clear. I do not do all of this on my own. I have to have help. Okay, so miscellaneous expenses. This month I had several renewals. I think my Canva renewed, my Hubbub, it used to be Grow Social, but that's my social sharing plugin, renewed. And there was a couple of other things that renewed annually. And then I also signed up for a new keyword research tool for YouTube called vidIQ. And so that brought the total up to 916.08. And then as always, I do my tithe, and then I have a couple of charities that I have a recurring amount going to. And as you know, every year I try to add a new one to it. God has been so great in blessing this ministry, and I want to always honor that by paying it forward and being able to give. And so I just want to show that, not to be like, oh, Leanne gives so much money. Y'all know that I'm not like that. But I think it's important because many people have asked me, how much do you tithe? Like, and they're not asking it to be nosy. They're asking it because like, there's no rule. There's no, like, this is the way to do it. Like the Bible says, give 10%, but how do you like figure that 10%? And what else do you do? And so I know when I was trying to figure that out myself, there was really no information out there to help me. Everyone's just like, well, just pray about it. And sometimes, yes, of course, pray about it, but it does help. My brain works when I have something visual that I can kind of base it off of, or somebody sort of explains to me how they do it. And then that can give me ideas. And so that's why I share this so that others can kind of gauge how they're going to go about it as well. So I hope that makes sense. All right, so this is a recurring every month between my 10% plus the charities that I do every month, 788. This number does go up because obviously the amount of the tithes may fluctuate, but this is kind of a bare minimum for each month. So total expenses for the month, $3,335. So everybody talks about how great it is to earn income, but nobody talks about how much you have to spend in order to earn that income. Okay, so 33.35. Okay, so that brings us to 2277.85 was my net income for the month. So it's really great to say I earned $5,600 this month, but really I earned a little over 2,000 because of course, expenses. And it's really important that you understand the expenses part of it, and that's part of why I share this, because in the beginning, you look for kind of all the free options, and I'm all about that. Y'all know I'm cheap. But as you start seeing growth, there are things that you must invest in order to be able to do more things. I have a higher hosting plan just because I have 3 websites and the traffic so much. So really not that, but a good hosting is important. Of course, when you get to the point of building your email list, you won't have that monthly expense. But besides that, just for running the blog itself, I pay for outside tools. I pay for Ahrefs. I pay for Chat GPT. I pay for a couple of other things. And I also have a YouTube channel. And so, paying for keyword tools for that. And so over time, those expenses build up. I also take courses. I do trainings. I have some recurring kind of memberships for templates and things like that help me do certain things. And so over time, you will start spending money on your blog. But to be able to sit here and say, I spend $3,000 a month to run my blog, I remember the day when I wish I could even make $300 in my pocket. So this doesn't happen overnight. I want to make that very clear. So many people get into this thinking, I'm just going to make thousands of dollars by the end of the year because, that's what the influencers tell you. That's just not how it works. It takes time. Of course, you add into that the Google HCU updates, which tanks your traffic. Then you have to find kind of other options. Pinterest, for example, I get on the Kingdom website between 13 and 15,000 visits a month to my site just from Pinterest alone. And so, learning how to diversify your traffic streams, doing them appropriately, can also help offset when Google, decides to make another update. But in the end, if you stay consistent, of course, SEO is key. having a target audience, staying focused, not getting distracted with all the things people are telling you. Hey, you should try this. Hey, you should try that. Doing all the things is never going to help you get any closer to your goal. And so staying focused on your mission, actually having a mission, having a blueprint for your mission, and then staying focused on it, kind of tuning out all the extra things, all the distractions. That is what it takes to be able to grow a ministry to this point. But then there does come a certain point where you have to have help. You cannot possibly do it by yourself. It's just not physically possible. And so I just want to make that very clear, because a lot of people ask, how do you do it all? I mean, I don't do it all. I mean, I set up the blueprint for it all, but I have things to help me do different parts of it. I hope that makes sense. Haven't had all my coffee yet this morning, y'all. So anyway, let me get this on the screen here. So again, I just wanted to share this to encourage those of you that there is the potential for you to earn income here. You have to have a plan. You can't just kind of willy-nilly it. You may think you understand SEO. I get people tell me all the time when I say, well, do you know SEO? And they're like, yeah, I know SEO. I look at their sites and you don't know SEO. Like, you really need to learn it so you understand how SEO works, the bigger picture of it. It's not about a keyword, but you also have to have discipline and focus. What I see happening too many times is you have your hands in too many things at once, and you're not laying a foundation for any one of them. Now, yes, I have my hands in all the things now, but that's 5 years into this. When I first started, it was all about the blog. I didn't have an email list. I didn't do social media. I didn't do any of that. I focused on this foundation, and each year I have added another piece to it. That is how you get consistent and steady growth, and have less of an impact, hopefully, from the HCU updates. And just by the way, those HCU updates, there's no guarantee for you how you don't get impacted by them. Like, it's a secret. Nobody knows, not even the experts. And so there's no one thing you can do or not do that's going to prevent you from taking a hit from it. It's just kind of random. But there are things you can do to minimize or mitigate the impact it has on you, such as diversifying your income streams. So, or I'm sorry, your traffic streams, about income here. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Of course, like this video, please. Drop your comments below. I mean, I'm here to help you guys. Y'all know this. I'm here to help you grow your income, grow your blog, grow your reach, whatever it is you're trying to do, whether it's blogging, whether it's YouTube, digital products, whatever. Let me know. Hop over to my Facebook group. That's the best place to ask questions. And I will see you guys all in the next video. God bless. Have a great week. Bye-bye.